All right, guys, bang, bang. I've got Matt here. What's up, man?
What's good, Ant?
Not much. You're the Bachelor. I don't think that you grew up wanting to be the Bachelor. How the hell does that happen?
Bro, it's just, you kind of fall into it. Like my...
You're supposed to say you were looking for love.
Well, that's a given, you know? It's like, I'd never given myself a chance to explore what a relationship looked like. So when the opportunity presented itself, it was something that I entertained initially. And then my roommate's mom, Tyler's mom really pushed me. She's like, you know, I saw how much this pushed Tyler in the direction that he needed to go and become a man. And
he was already on the show.
He had been on The Bachelorette as a contestant, so he was pursuing the woman.
But he didn't win.
He didn't win. No,
all right. Did you, when he comes back, are you like, you're a loser, you lost, or or is it just like a no, like everyone except for one loses?
You know what's funny about that? He wouldn't tell me what happened, and that's my homie. Like, that's my guy. I'm like, yo, so like, what happened? Like, are you engaged? He's like, I'm like, he was acting weird. You know what I mean?
Really?
Just because I was expecting him to come back and be like,
tell you everything.
Yeah, but like, it really did change him for the better. And so I was like, I took that into consideration when I was thinking about doing it myself.
How much did that play into you getting selected, do you think? Like that your roommate had been on the show versus it wouldn't have mattered? I
think it helped a lot because it gave me visibility into that fan base, you know what I mean? And what they were looking for. And I don't think that I would have been in that spotlight without that friendship and relationship with Tyler, because I think the peak of that was during quarantine. You know, after I had gone out to California to film The Bachelorette, like I was initially supposed to be a contestant.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was supposed to be a contestant, and COVID happened, and I'm in my hotel. I don't have a phone. I don't have anything, and it's like,
wait, they don't give you any electronics?
Don't have anything, bro. I'm just watching TV. It's like NCAA tournament canceled, like FIFA canceled. I'm like, yo, if all this stuff's canceled, how are we about to film? And then like literally clockwork, someone walks in like, hey, we're gonna postpone for 2 weeks, so we're gonna get you a flight back to New York. I call Tyler. He's like, yo, don't come to New York. Like, shit's hitting the fan. Like, come down to Jupiter.
Yep.
So I'm like, done. I came from Jupiter because his mom had passed away, and I was down there for the funeral. So I stayed another week and then flew out to California. So I just came right back to Jupiter. And Hannah, who was the Bachelorette that he was pursuing during his season, was in Florida as well for the funeral. So she came back down, and we were all kind of quarantining together. And then that snowballed into this opportunity where I was presented the opportunity to be the Bachelor.
When you get that phone call or email, do you like jump up and down and you're like, let's fucking go? Or is it like a, damn, am I really gonna do this? Like, do you like, are you worried about saying yes? Or is it like a celebratory thing?
You know what's funny? So like at that time in the house that I was quarantining in, like it was the peak of prank wars. Like there's like we were at each other's necks. There's 10 people living in like a 2-bedroom house. And so I thought it was a joke. Like I thought someone was messing with me because it's an area code I've never seen.
Yep.
It's someone I had never spoken to. So I get this call. And I'm just like, who paid this person to call me? You know, I'm just like on edge. And then they called back the next day, and I was like, oh shit, this is real. And I was honored, you know, because I know the type of research and the type of I just know how difficult it is to be in that pool of people that they're considering, and what an honor it would be to be the first Black person to do that. So, yeah, it was surreal. It was surreal.
All right, so you get there, you meet all these girls. What's going through your head? Like that, like to me, it's just like there's this element of wow, all these girls are here for me, right? So like there's probably like I'm the man, right? At the same time, you're like, oh, but it's gonna be on national television, like that throws a wrench in things. Like I'm gonna have to be careful as to like what I say, do, whatever, because everything's filmed, right? And then you like get into it, and is it literally as emotional? And for those that are listening, I've never watched this show before, but I was telling Matt beforehand. My wife is a 20-year veteran, I think, of the show, and so I started watching because we've got some friends that are mutual friends, and it's like sports, man. Like literally, like you could cheer on one girl over another girl or whatever, right? And you're like, you get into it. And so like, is that the same thing for you on the other side of it?
You know, it's different for me, you know, because these are real relationships I'm dealing with.
Are they real? Come on. Are they really real?
They're real for me. And I think that's why it worked for me, because when, like to your point, there's people who have bachelor pools and they're doing all this stuff like, oh, we wonder, and that's fun and it gets people engaged, but for it to work and for it to be real and for those connections to be valid, you've got to be vulnerable. And that's not something that I was ever comfortable with being or doing, just because like I was conditioned as a man just to keep all that stuff inside and not share. Like my friend group didn't talk about stuff like that. And so when I'm like forced to address these things that I've never talked about or come to terms with these women, you just form this connection and bond over sharing things with people you've never shared before, and also being disconnected from work, email, phone. Like you don't have any electronics. Like it's just you and these women out there trying to figure out if you're compatible with one another.
So it's weird if like a friend called me up and he started saying all kinds of emotional stuff, you'd almost be like, you good? Right? Like,
well, now I'm like, yo, I welcome those conversations.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's funny after the experience, like you find yourself just like trying to have these like deep conversations. So it's like if you a common question you get is, so how are you feeling, Pomp? Like, I feel good. Like if you ask me how I'm feeling, man, let me tell you, like it's been a tough day. Like I've had this going on, and I think
you're more honest.
Yeah, you just dive deeper and you look to have those type of connections and conversations. So after the show, I'm like having these conversations with people, and they're just like, yo, like, are you good? I'm just like, no, I just want to know. Like it's because it feels good to get those things off your chest and share.
Yeah.
So.
The host, what's his name?
Chris.
All right. What's he like behind the scenes?
He was great. You know, I spent a lot of time with Chris because during the days that we weren't filming, we would we'd catch up on how I'm feeling. There was times where he had his family there, and a lot of the producers would have their family there, and it just made it real because you know there's the work, and then like when the cameras are off, it's like, oh, this guy's a dad. Like, oh, this guy.
Like, what's he doing though? Is he like smoking a cigar, drinking a drink,
He's
and like
prepping.
chilling with his kids?
He's
or
doing prep work. Yeah, his kids are in high school, so he's helping them out at the house, and then he's an avid golfer, so he's playing a lot of golf.
So he's on vacation basically.
Well, you know, it might seem like that to somebody, but like to him, he's working because when he comes on set, he's ready to go. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And how many people? You said there's like a couple hundred people there as part of this production?
Pomp, there was so many people there, like producers, lighting, sound. You have the staff from Nakamoto. You've got it's such a big vehicle, and you don't really have. I didn't have any concept of that until I got there, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was so much that went into making this work for everybody.
So when I'm watching the show, a couple times you pulled up in nice cars, you had nice clothes, and I was like, damn, this guy's killing life. I was like, what do they bring you in a garage and they're like, yo, what car you want to drive up in this scene? Or like, how's that work?
It was funny about that. So the G-Wagon was actually Maggie's, and Maggie owns...
Who's Maggie?
Maggie's the CEO of 84 Lumber.
Okay.
And she also owns Nakamoto, the resort.
Got it.
And so Maggie Hardy, she let me use her car for some of the stuff. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And they own all those cars on property. They have I would say a car museum on property that has like Rolls, Bentley, Porsche.
Yep.
So I was driving the Porsche. I didn't know how to drive stick, so I had to learn how to drive stick before I got there. So I'm in Jupiter like a week before filming, like in my buddy James McGrath's Jeep, like stalling out in the middle of the street, like. I'm like, yo, I'm screwed. Like, I'm not going to get it working. Fast forward to the first night, I had to drive maybe 100 yards. That's it. Like, all right, Matt, like, just pull up. Bro, I couldn't get I couldn't.
How many takes did it take?
It took like 10 minutes. They're like, forget it. We're going to push him up. They were going to push me. They had production people behind the car ready to push me into the frame and then run out. And I was going to act like I was driving up. I'm like, there's no way we're doing that. Like, I'm going to get this thing going. Then like last try, like I finally got it in gear and I'm like speeding in. But I learned how to drive stick in it. So.
All right, and then clothes. Those they got like a whole like wardrobe and like a whole team that's like there to make you look fashionable or what?
They got a whole team, and
that's what I need.
Yeah, I need it too. Like obviously, I'm not the most fashion forward person, and I'm all about comfortability. So like, if they weren't having me get into these clothes, then I'd be wearing sweats, and I don't think that's the proper attire.
Well, it may have made the show even more entertaining, right? They're like, oh, this guy refuses to wear the tux. He refuses to wear. He's just wearing sweatsuit.
Rose ceremony, like a velour jumpsuit. Like that would be my vibe. It's like something super comfy.
How scripted is it?
I wouldn't say it's scripted at all. I think that people would be surprised at how interesting and how wild reality is, opposed to making up or trying to compile things that people think would be a good show. So like as things play out in real time, that's crazier than anyone could imagine doing and like scripting. So there wasn't a lot that had to be added into the mix for it to be drama and things that were taking place.
There's a lot of drama. I didn't realize how much drama goes into this stuff. How much of like the actual show that gets aired is that like on a percentage basis? Is that like 5% of everything that happened? Is that 80% of stuff that happens? Like just how, I guess, compressed do they actually have to make the experience so they can fit it in TV?
Well, it's a great question, Pomp. It's like you're out there filming for like almost 2.5 months. So it's like,
oh yeah,
if you asked every single woman who was out there, they're gonna wish that they had this. Oh, they should have put this in, and they're gonna ask me. Like, there's like, good luck to whoever's job that is to make a cohesive story, include everything that everyone wants in there, because you have hours, days, weeks of footage to go through. So I think they do a really good job of just making it work with all the footage they have and trying to tell that story that is gonna resonate with people.
How far into the 2.5 months were you like, yo, I know who it is? Like I know who the winner's gonna be.
Oh man.
And don't say 2.5 months.
It's funny, like you have your eye on a few, like that first night where you're just like, it's like you have this connection and you're like, I need to make sure that this feeling is real, and it's validated over the course of one-on-one dates and these group dates that you're having. So like I would say I had an idea pretty early. Yeah, I had an idea pretty early. But then it's hard because you add people to the mix.
I was going to say, then it feels like they're throwing kind of curveballs at you throughout the entire show, right? They had a bunch of other girls show up. Then they had somebody who just came in, I think, for like a night. And like, as this is all happening, are you finding out like at the same time that everyone else on the show is finding out?
Yeah,
they're not like, yo, Matt, tomorrow, like curveball.
No idea. And I think that's what makes it exciting for everybody, and that's where you get the realest raw reaction out of myself, because if I knew that someone was coming, then I could be like, whoa, like, it's like I didn't want any of that, and I don't think they wanted that from me either. So whenever people would pull up, like,
did you know the girls that were going to be on the show before you actually started filming?
I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, because by the time I got into the property, like my phone was gone, my laptop, I didn't have any connection to the outside world. So when that information is being released,
they just take it from you? They're just like, no, you can't have this?
Pretty much. They're like, it's funny because like you think that they forget. It's like, all right, we're going to get your phone in a few weeks. It's like, whatever. Like they're not going to come for it. And then it's clockwork. Like, all right, like give it up. And then
really?
They just take everything. But I mean, I say that and I think it's good because if you had a line to the outside world, then it wouldn't be the same experience.
Yeah. Are you able to talk to like friends or family or anything? Like it sounds crazy, but like in jail, yeah, you don't have a phone, but like there is a phone that you can go use, right? And maybe you only can use it for 20 minutes a day, but like you can communicate with people outside. Is there some equivalent of that here?
You know what's funny? So
you're like, yes, that's exactly what it's like. And like, they made me pay to use it.
Bro, after a while, it's honestly liberating not having your phone because we're tied to it. So like outside of like wondering how like my family and friends are doing, unless there's like some major event or accident, and I didn't really want to be on my phone or be communicating with anybody because I liked how like I think in normal life every 5 or 10, maybe even every 2 or 3 minutes we're checking our phone. If you were to get
you ever looked at how many times there's a thing on an iPhone, how many times you pick it up or the screen lights up?
No. There's somewhere to look at that?
Yeah, it's bad. I looked one time. I'm going to say this and people are going to freak out. I think like one time I looked, it was like 700 times a day.
You're lying.
I swear. And I mean, because like notifications, right? So then I started shutting notifications off, like whatever. Right. But like if you just sit there for an hour, right, and you think of how many times you pick up your phone, it's like 4 or 5 times more than you think you really did.
A lot.
Right? Yeah. You're like, I pick up my phone once an hour.
Exactly.
Like, no, you don't.
But that's how it was when I got back. So like when I got my phone back, I wasn't used to like having to text people and call. So I was just, and then you kind of get worked back into just checking it constantly, which I don't like, but
what do you check when you wake up? Like, what's the first app or
That's
website?
A great question. The first thing I check is Twitter.
Matt, this is a theme here. I only ask good questions.
I would say the first thing I check is Twitter because that's where I go for my news.
Okay.
So I'll see what's trending, and then I'll see there's a bunch of hashtags that I follow, some stuff in crypto, some stuff in sports, and then politically, and then I'm caught up. So I check everything to make sure that I'm not like, because there was a time where I was traveling once, and I was off the grid for like 4 hours, and I put out a tweet, and it wasn't insensitive, but it was based off of where the country was at that time, people were like, "Yo, do you live in a hole?" And I was like,
"Oh, because you didn't realize something else was going on."
I didn't know what was going on.
Got it. Yeah,
I had no idea where
it's
we
like
were
read
at.
the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not what you said. It was just more of like, hey, it's kind of like a brand, right? They got a scheduled tweet. All of a sudden, something bad happens, and then they're like, "Hey, go buy peanuts."
Oh,
from Mr.
bro,
Peanut.
you couldn't be more spot on. That's how it was. And so now I'm in a habit of like, okay, before I do anything, like, let me see where we're at. Like, oh, okay, like, I'm gonna stay off social.
Is that crazy though that that's the world we live in, where like literally we wake up in the morning and we're like, all right, where are we in the spectrum of today, right? Are we in like where everyone's outraged about something? There's some like catastrophic event that happened, or like, no, we're good. Okay, fine, I can go live my life.
Right. I think it ebbs and flows. Like I think that it's a cycle that we're in, and it's something that we talked about before we got on. Is there's going to be a point where the people canceling everybody are the ones that are getting canceled. And I think until that happens, like we're going to be in this space where everyone's kind of walking on eggshells. And in some instances, rightfully so, because there's things that people have been getting passes on for far too long. But then there's other instances where it's like, okay, we need to give people a space to have conversations and not be critical about them. And I think that we're going to find that balance as we continue to ebb and flow.
Is it unfair that like social media stuff almost requires or like is demanding everyone to be perfect? Like, is it better off we just say, hey, look, humans aren't perfect. Like everyone has mistakes. They say stupid shit. We're all actually pretty dumb compared to like, like computers or whatever.
Right.
And so like, let's just admit that we're all flawed, and then like, let's work to get better together, rather than say like, no, the expectation or default is perfection. And if you're not there, then like you literally get canceled.
I mean, I think that what I try to do is remind the people who follow me and the people that I interact with is that I am all those things. I'm not a perfect person. I'm continually gonna make mistakes. And if they're coming to me for XYZ, just to give that disclaimer that as much as I try to be the model citizen, like there's things that I will do and say that constantly make me fall short. So like, just have grace on me, and I'm gonna have grace on y'all. But the expectation study is so important, right? It's like if you go into it knowing like, hey man, you're gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make mistakes, and then you make the mistake, like, well, yeah, I told you I was gonna make mistakes, right? Right.
Rather than, I think a lot of people, especially as they get bigger audiences, like, I'm perfect,
right?
Like, oh, I got the perfect Instagram photo. Every tweet has been passed through 7 PR filters,
right.
Then you're like, wait a minute, like you cheat on your wife, like.
Yeah.
Hey, you were supposed to be up here, right?
Yeah.
And you start to like, I mean, look, we just talked about like, Bill Gates is probably the best example. Like there was this whole, hey, I'm a philanthropic, person. I got this, whatever. And then you find out and you're like, well, hold on a second. Those are actually, in many cases, they're not great.
Yeah.
But that story is as old as time in terms of people, just doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the bigger they are, the more we put them on a pedestal, the harder they can fall. Right?
I think you bring up an interesting point, Pomp, and that's that the more authentic and organic you are on your social platforms, the more, maybe not grace, but the more open to those things type of happening. Understanding, exactly. Because if you're posting imperfect pictures of yourself, like, oh, yo, this guy is just as ugly as I am, or it's like, oh, this guy has like nose hairs, like, it's just like things that you wouldn't think that someone in the limelight would want to post about themselves. Like the more relatable you are, the more people are going to have an understanding of where you're coming from, opposed to being this like angel, and then like that fall is going to be hard because it's like, I knew they weren't perfect. It's like,
yeah. Well, it's also, I think there's this element of like the more people preach about like ethics and honesty and integrity and like all these things that like everyone covets and we think are really important skills or kind of values.
Right.
If somebody's out there every day just pounding the table, I've learned over time, like, they're doing some sketchy shit.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know when the shoe drops. I don't know if it's in 6 months or literally 10 years, but at some point that person is going to be exposed.
100%. And
it's just because it's the projection, right? It's the belief that like, I'm not this person. So if I project to be that person, then everyone, I fooled them.
Yeah.
Right. And it feels like that's actually like the bad part of it.
Yeah. And I see a lot of that. And I try to be cognizant of that as I'm dealing with friends, people close to me who are going through stuff like that, because I know that you're one bad decision away from being.
Bro, you have a hat on that says Bandit. Like, like no one can think that you're perfect.
Yo, I love this hat. I won't take it off.
All right. So as you guys are finishing the show, you finally let everybody else know what you've known for a little bit, right? Is Rachael's going to be the winner?
Right.
Is she happy about that? Like, did she want to win? By the way, we're having this conversation. She's in the room, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Rachael, shout out. Just I'll get some answers for you.
Shout out to Rachael. I've never done an interview with her right here before, so this will be interesting.
Oh, even better. All right, perfect.
I think she was excited. I was definitely excited because we've had to.
I'm just laughing at the fact that you're like, I think she was excited.
Because
can you feel the heat of her just staring at us?
Yeah, right, I'm getting a burn right here.
We'll get that over. Go ahead.
Because we there's so much of our relationship that we want to celebrate and share with everybody, and we've had to hide and be in hiding because we don't want to ruin this experience as it's airing for everybody else. So we're, again, walking on eggshells so that we're not giving things away, but I'm constantly doing bonehead stuff to give it away. I was listening to one of her playlists on Spotify.
And people figured it out?
Dude, people figure out everything.
Wait, hold on. All right, so listen to the context. The show ends, right? You've picked Rachael. Rachael's the winner. You guys, get released to the wild, essentially, right? Back into society.
Right.
And you're told in November, you said that nobody can see you together until March.
Right.
Okay. What happens for 4 or 5 months, right? You're so excited, all this stuff. What do you do for 5 months?
Well,
other than listen to her playlist on Spotify.
That's
like the old CDs. Remember, in middle school, a girl would write on it and give you the CD.
If you really like somebody, you would burn a CD for them, right?
Yeah, facts.
They had a playlist for them. But I think me and Rachel's relationship was a little bit different because a lot of things happened. We would. From a standpoint of what we did together, we couldn't leave the house. So you're limited to, we watched a bunch of movies. We worked our way through Disney Plus. Rachel's the biggest Marvel fan there is. So she's giving me a high level graduate education on the history of all these different characters, and I'm trying to catch up.
It's basically like Bachelor for kids, to some degree, right? Different players, got different skills.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun though. We got to do things like that. If we had the opportunity to do things outdoors, we probably wouldn't have spent as much time doing. And then there was rough patches on our relationship. We actually broke up for a moment while the show was airing, and then after the show aired and the finale happened, we found ourselves we're back together now. So.
When you break up, is that what a normal person would think of as a breakup, or now that everyone in the world watches, is it something different? Going back to is it, you're still a human, right? So is she, I think. And so when you guys have good or bad times, it's the same thing in any relationship that you had before the show.
Right.
All right. When you guys get back together, is that a 2 a.m. you up text that a normal person would send when they're drunk? Or is that a, hey, we saw each other somewhere for an event? How does that happen?
Well, I think it's an interesting question because there was...
If you tell me you up text right now, I'm going to die.
Definitely not a you up text. It was honestly a commitment that we had made to each other that we were going to work on the relationship. And there came a point in time where it was evident that my working on the relationship looked different than Rachel's because I wasn't really honoring that commitment that I made to working on our relationship. And it was just a come to Jesus meeting that I had with Rachael where she's like, if you're going to make this work, then let's do it. But if you're not going to make it work, then I'm going to let you do your own thing. And that's really all I needed.
Is that an ultimatum?
It was an ultimatum that I needed because I was
it was appreciated, but
right.
It was hey, let me put my foot down.
Exactly. But
right,
it's
my wife's in the room too. She does that all the time. But not over hey, the relationship, you better take the trash out or
Yeah, no. It was what I needed and it's been great.
What's up, guys? Before we continue with this interview, I want to quickly talk about our sponsor, Kraken. Kraken's one of the most established and secure places to buy cryptocurrencies on the internet. They've been at the forefront of the Bitcoin and blockchain revolution for over 10 years. Their mission is to bring crypto to the masses. So whether you're an OG or this is your first trade, Kraken has all of the tools that you need to achieve financial freedom. With more than 60 cryptocurrencies available, you can invest in all of the most popular projects in the industry, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many, many more. Kraken also provides in-depth articles and guides on every single asset that they list, so you can get up to speed quickly and make smarter investment decisions. Visit kraken.com/bangbang to get started today. Again, that's kraken.com/bangbang. All right, let's get back into this interview. I hope you're enjoying it. All right. Best thing about her and most annoying thing about her.
Ooh. That is.
She's not listening. Don't worry.
Put your headphones in. The best.
She looked real excited when I asked that question. Like that was exactly what she came for.
Right? Oh no, that's funny.
We got to answer still.
Yeah, no. Ooh, it's hot in here. No, I would say the best thing about Rachael is her heart. You know, she's the most kind, caring person, understanding I've ever met. You know, everything we've been through, everything she's been through, she's stuck right by my side, and she's continued to have a positive attitude towards everything. And it's one of the many things I love about her. But I have a list of things that I don't like about her.
Nah, not that you don't like, just the most annoying thing she does.
The most annoying thing.
That thing, the thing you just thought of right there. What was that thing?
The most annoying thing. Oh, I got it. So,
all right. That was a good one. Whatever that was a breakthrough moment.
So I'm really particular about the laundry.
Okay.
And
in
like,
what way?
And like, I don't like to dry my stuff because it fits me a certain way, because like I have long pants and shirts that I want to fit. I don't want my shirts.
I thought you were going to tell me that you only wear dirty clothes or something.
No, I don't like I like to air dry a lot of stuff. So like I did my laundry separate from Rachael, and then Rachael did her laundry, and she puts her laundry in my laundry. Okay, like not a big deal.
Like in the washer or in the dryer?
In the dryer.
Oh.
And
so like that's violating the air dry, because now we're going in the dryer.
But it's not just that. It's that she continued to dry the clothes for 3 days. So like now the clothes have been drying for the past week, and I'm like, yo, Rachael, like, are you planning on folding?
Same clothes.
Same clothes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to donate my shirts to Stuart Little because none of my stuff fits anymore. Like I'm gonna have to make these pants capris. Like
for the longest time, I thought the dryer was just a replacement for the iron, right? Like if you got a wrinkled ass shirt, you just put a little water on it, throw it in the dryer. That's
how Rachael utilizes it. You know, she'll put it on like fluff mode, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I just thought you dry clothes in there, but you know, it's not that deep, but I like to give her a hard time about it because
if that's the biggest thing that annoys you, then you're doing all right.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, what's the Spotify playlist? What happened here?
So I thought it was a private playlist.
Okay,
but it wasn't. It was a public playlist. And when you're on the computer, if you're on Spotify on the computer, you could see if you're following me on Spotify whose playlist I'm listening to. So I was listening.
That's some creepy shit.
Bro, a Bachelor Nation's its own beast, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you've got a decent
it's
amount
like private investigators.
Right. But like another thing, Pomp, is like I'll post like parts of a song and like a workout I'm doing or at the beach or eating, and people are like, yo, what's your song? So like people are constantly going to you got a decent amount of people following you on these social channels. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for them to be online, be like, oh, what's Matt listening to? Wait, no, you know, it's like he's listening to Rachel's, like he's giving it away. And so it's like on accident.
You get a call from the producers. They're like, yo, get the hell off Spotify.
You know what? You start getting DMs some are nice and some are like, hey, just a heads up, like you should probably get off. So good looks, like off
Appreciate
it, you know what I mean? And then you try to double down, so you try to find someone else who has a playlist, and then you're like, yo, I'm also listening to her playlist. I'm listening to his playlist. It's like, wait. You gotta throw people off a little bit, but it was no secret.
Did you ever think you'd spend your life trying to figure out what playlist to listen to throw off people?
This past 6 months, I've spent a lot of time doing things that I never thought I'd end up doing.
What's the craziest thing you guys did to hide the fact that you guys were together during those like 5-6 months when you weren't allowed to be seen together?
I think the craziest thing would be the outfit changes.
All right, what does that mean? So
like whenever. Like if Rachael and I were together and we wanted to go to a Trader Joe's, or we wanted to go to what's that pasta place that I like in California? John and Vinny's. I love John and Vinny's. Their pasta is fire. So like
she knew that real quick.
You knew it, bro. So I'm like, if we were gonna do something like that, it's like hoodie, hat, glasses, like tied up, so you can only see like the shades in the hat.
Matt, how tall are you?
I know, bro. I forget.
You're not hiding from anybody.
I know. Bro, I forget how tall I am, and it's like you can't hide 6'5". You know what I mean? It's like,
all right. So you got to change your outfit. What does she change her outfit too?
She does. Yeah, she does the outfit swaps. Because
does she go to the dryer to get the clothes? I mean, that's where if she keeps her clothes there, right?
You know what? She is very clean, and every time we're together, it's either constantly cleaning the kitchen because we're making a mess, or it's constantly doing laundry because we're doing activities. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was multiple trips.
I heard recently, I didn't hear, my wife sent it to me, which was probably a negative thing. And it was a meme on the internet, and it was like, I'm moving out of my house. It was a woman posting that said, I'm moving out of my house at 3 years. My husband just hit me with, I liked this place. The dish soap was always full. Like he's completely oblivious to the fact that it was getting replaced.
Right. Yeah, no.
So I feel like there is an element of, you just got to kind of be cognizant of what's going on.
I try to be. I try my best.
All right. So outfit changes is literally the craziest thing you guys have ever done?
I think the outfit changes, and then once after the show aired, we were technically together, but we wanted to live our life outside of the media and the cameras and all that stuff. So we went to dinner in the Cut, deep in Brooklyn, and I wanted to get ice cream after the fact, and
she didn't want to walk around.
No, she didn't care. I'm like, yo, I kind of want to go get ice cream. She's like, all right. She's like, do you want to walk over there? Because she knows that people are going to see us. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. And then we get outside. I'm like, you want to put my hoodie on? Trying to give her a outfit to disguise. She's like, no, I'm not putting your hoodie on. We're going to doing this. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So just coming back to grips with the fact that we don't have to do that stuff anymore is great. We don't have to hide being together and doing activities together. It just makes living life together easier.
Is there paparazzi and that type of stuff, or is it mostly just fans? Because I saw you. Listen, you don't know that I saw this, but you were with my boys up in New York with Seth and Ben Kaplan, all these guys.
Those are my guys.
And you guys were going down the street gang, literally in scooters. I don't know what you guys were all on different mechanical devices flying down the street.
Oh my gosh, yo, Seth, Ben, Wilton, those guys are out of control. I love kicking it with those guys. I met them down here in Miami.
Ben's the one that I know the best. I don't really know the other guys that well, but Ben, when he, I don't know who posted or whatever. I was like, what are all these dudes hanging out together doing?
It's funny because Ben has, people give me a hard time about my means of transportation because I have a one wheel that I love to ride, and then I have a Super 73 that I'm ripping all over the place. Ben is the same way with scooters, and everyone in our crew had some sort of electronic vehicle that you would use when you're in 5th or 6th grade. So it's we're these big humans just mobbing down 6th Avenue on one wheels and scooters.
I literally saw the video, and so we put music to it,
yeah,
right?
We'll put music on it.
It was as you guys were going, someone kind of got up ahead and to the side, right? Was filming it. It's it's kind of like the Avengers.
Bro, I wish, man. No, I wish it was like Avengers. But no, that's how we that's one of the things I miss about New York. I'm down here in Miami, but I miss the connectivity that I had up there and being able to bounce from one place to another pretty seamlessly. Everything's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
What are you going to do now? What do you want to do kind of moving forward? You got this massive audience. Everyone knows who you are. You've got Rachael. I think that she likes you. That seems that she likes you.
Some days.
Some days, yeah. Well, only when you don't complain about the laundry. What do you want to do now?
I just want to be a part of meaningful projects. I fell in love with hydroponic farming over quarantine. Someone, Lettuce Grow, sent us a farm stand, and I'm like, yo, our plants are going to die. There's no way we can do this ourselves. And when the plants that we planted in this farm stand that Tyler and I were watching and feeding and giving water to sprouted into these massive kale heads and strawberry, these baby tomatoes and I'm like, yo, if we can do this, literally anybody can. So I'm like, how can we get this in these urban areas that we work with in New York City and across the country? So that's something I've been working on is the scalability of the hydroponic space. And every time I say hydroponics, people are like, oh, weed. Hydroponics.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you can grow anything in there, but I'm talking about growing food. So
for now. Just kidding. All right, so you want to do that. And then crypto. All of a sudden, I saw you started tweeting about Bitcoin and stuff, and then we got introduced.
Yep.
What's so fascinating about that?
So I think that the intro to crypto was through my fascination with the NFT space and how I saw people all across the world were being awarded this opportunity to advance not only their professional careers, but just economics. Like I could invest in an artist in Uganda. I can invest in an artist in Taiwan who wouldn't have that visibility without this platform, without the connectivity and the everything that you're allowed to utilize through an NFT and the stories that you can tell. And through that research, I Bitcoin and all these, they've always been buzzwords, and I didn't really know a lot about it. And when I tweeted something about NFT, and one of my buddies reached out to me, John Marbach, and he's like, if it was like Morpheus reaching out to Neo. he's like, if you want to learn more, like meet me at my apartment at 8:00. I was like, oh shit, like I'm in, like I'm getting invited in. So he invites me to his apartment, Pomp, and
the secret society has accepted you.
It was hilarious. Like I get there, and John's like one of the smarter people I know. Went to college together, has a place in New York. Get to his apartment, and he just starts unloading about how, like, what his involvement in the space is, and the different opportunities that are there. And I'm coming at him hard with these just like the opposition, like, well, what about this? What about that? And he's just like, if you read this, if you read that. He had a answer for every question I had. And then I did my own research.
Shout out John.
Yeah, John was, bro. That's the thing I like about the crypto community, though. It's like people want to educate you on, and like not with misinformation, but just like they want you to understand where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. And they not only understand, but offer any advice. And I can't say that for other investment vehicles, financial institutions that I've participated in the past, that people are so willing to give information.
The other ones don't want you to know. Right? That's how they make money.
Exactly. That's how they make money. So it's like, and just from an economic standpoint, like someone who studied economics, it just made sense. Mm-hmm. There's a fixed supply, the demand's going to go up, so the price has to follow. And we're in a volatile time right now. There's probably going to be more, but like the fundamentals of why I invested haven't changed, mm-hmm. and what I'm using it as hasn't changed. And as long as those things continue to stay finite, then I'm going to continue to put money into it. So
I think it's smart. You got laser eyes on Twitter now.
I got laser eyes.
All right. When you did that, what did Bachelor Nation say about laser eyes? They were like, yo, Matt's lost it.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because like that was like
there is literally nothing that is similar from like driving a Porsche, looking fly, going to meet 20 girls that are competing for you, and then putting laser eyes and being like, buy the dip. Like those two worlds are completely different.
Pomp, I'm like, and mind you, at this time, like the Matt that people came to know on the show, like clean shaven, like I haven't shaved since the show.
You look like Nipsey Hussle a little bit.
I appreciate that.
Right?
He's a legend.
Like, that's pretty good.
Nipsey. Yeah. No, I get that a decent amount.
Really?
Yeah, I get that a decent amount.
I feel like I'm smart then.
I just need the cornrows. But so like the pictures that are like they're not hearing from me because I'm not on the show anymore, but like there's like Matt Spot, it's like a Yeti. It's like there's like dude has a beard and he's like leaving Walmart. It's like who is this guy? And then so
when you leave, I'm gonna take a picture and be like, I spotted Matt.
Exactly.
Brickell, Miami.
People be like, who is
some
this?
girl. I'm gonna make sure Rachel's face is in it.
Oh God, here we go. The media storm around that. But so they're seeing that, and then like the next thing I post is like a picture of me in a tuxedo with laser eyes. So like, all right, this guy's literally lost his mind. Like, what is he possessed by a demon? Like, what does this even mean?
Yeah.
And so, but it's cool because it starts a conversation. It's like, like my laser focus to the moon. Oh, what's that? So it sparks conversation that I want to have around something that I'm interested in, and I'm inviting pushback on so that I can further solidify why I have these strong convictions about this investment and just the community in general. So
the most interesting thing to me is as you kind of evolve your interest, you learn more about crypto, you learn more about hydroponics, whatever. The audience that you have is literally 180 degree difference than mine.
Right.
Mine is like, if you look on like YouTube, it's like 95% male. Right. Polina one time saw that and she was like, oh, we gotta get some more females in this audience. And I was like, listen, it's just the type of the content really attracts a certain type of person.
Right.
But you have like 95% women,
right,
because of the show and all this stuff.
Exactly.
And so Do you feel like there's an opportunity to kind of expose a different audience to different ideas, right? Regardless of what the ideas are, what the exact audience is, it feels almost like your interests are very different than what they normally would kind of consume, right? I'm assuming most of your audience doesn't have laser eyes.
Right.
Almost 100% of my audience has laser eyes, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like such a different kind of, circle of people that you're really introducing a lot of these new ideas to.
Yeah, I think that when you're in a position of influence, that you have a responsibility. And I'm not the chair of the Fed. I'm not controlling.
That's a good thing. No, that's a job that no one can win.
You know what I mean? Like I have very little say on anything outside of my own opinions. And when I find something that I think is going to be something that's going to be here for a while, and something that I want to pass on to the students and the families of the students that I work with, then I think that it's a responsibility to at least make people aware of tools that are out there that they could change the trajectory of their life. And especially with cryptocurrency, I think that we've seen historically communities that have been marginalized and discriminated against can't get loans, they can't buy houses, they can't buy cars. And like those barriers to entry don't exist the way they do with traditional financial institutions, the way they do with crypto. And that was something that was intriguing to me, because if the families that I work with and the kids that we work with have access to these tools now, and something that I only think is going to gain momentum, public onboarding and institutional onboarding going forward, then like it would be an honor for me to be the person that bridges the gap between them, and then replicate that for women who are following me. There's no reason why they shouldn't be a part of this conversation as well. It's conversations that Rachael and I have on a regular basis. She's constantly challenging my thoughts and views on being a Bitcoin maximalist and all other things crypto, so that
Rachael, no shit coins, all right?
And I like it because it helps me come to a better conclusion of why, like what my truths are rooted in, and it helps her understand like, oh, like that makes sense, because everything you're saying should make sense. Like it's not a secret. There's no like theorem or
it's the intellectual almost like combat or battle of ideas, right? Where you come in, you're like, hey, I got this idea. She asks you questions. You're almost in some way educating, but at the same time, you're getting a gut check on, do I actually know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
Do I really believe this?
Exactly.
Yeah. Pompliano thinks that Satoshi's a female.
That is a popular take, and I don't think that she's wrong on that.
Really?
I've heard that before, and why
do you think that? And I'll tell you why she thinks it.
I think it because of the rationale that went into the protocol, and I don't think it's something that would have been. I think that men are more greedy, and I think that there would have been some sort of way to maybe hoard the potential. I don't know. I just think that it's too fluid of a system for it to be created by one of us.
So Pompliano thinks it could be a female because men are too egotistical. Right?
See?
Like somebody would be out there be like, yo, I made that shit. That's me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like that. That's so true.
But she's like, no, actually, it takes a special type of person, right? Which from probability standpoint is more likely a woman than a man. I don't know who it is. I don't want to know. But I think it's interesting to think through, like, everyone does assume. The other thing that I learned recently is there's only one time ever Satoshi revealed gender. He was signing up for something. I use him because when he signed up, I forget what it was. It asked for birthday and it asked for gender and selected male. Now, could have been throwing us off, right?
Gotcha.
So you don't know.
Right.
But like that's the only time ever that there was gender involved in a way that Satoshi, kind of said anything about their.
What was the
themselves.
birthday?
I forget exact birthday, but it put him in there like I think mid to late 40s in 2010. So like mid to late 50s today.
Interesting.
All right. So like could be. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think I want to know.
No, I definitely don't want to know.
Yeah.
There's an element of if you don't know, nobody can say, oh, that's far right or far left, or that's a man, that's a woman, that's a white person, a black person, a green person, that's a American, somebody from another country. Oh, that's a Christian, that's a Muslim, that's a.
Right.
It's just nothing.
So what would you say to
conversation
Ethereum then? Like knowing that the protocol.
Yeah, I think that it's not bad if people knew. Yeah. All it does is it just removes one other thing that people could attack. Right? There's plenty of people who are like, oh, I don't like Vitalik. Right. I don't think Vitalik's done anything that's like worth attacking or being mad at him or not liking him or anything like that. But it's just like because they know who Vitalik is, he tweets something. Everyone freaks out, right? half the people are like, yes, he's the king, right? Half people are like, he's an idiot,
right.
Like, all right, like, whatever. So like that just adds another level of complexity. So it's not so much like you solve a problem as much as, or that it necessarily matters as much as just it's one less thing for people to attack. And so if everyone's yelling and screaming about Bitcoin, and oh, by the way, the creator of the protocol does something, it just is another kind of attack vector.
Right.
So, when you think about the last year of your life, what are the two things that you're like, I cannot believe this happened? Like maybe one positive surprise and one negative surprise.
I would say they're probably both related to my experience on The Bachelor. And I would say that the first positive is...
You're talking about it like my experience on The Bachelor. Like it was like a...
But I don't know how to like...
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know how to refer to it because it's like it's like the process or like the experience. And like I don't like saying it's a show, and then like I don't like saying contestants because then it like takes away like the real...
Feels clinical.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was real. It's like, oh, I was on like... when I think of show, I think of like freaking Nickelodeon, like getting slimed. Like I don't think of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want that comparison to ever be drawn with a relationship.
Jeopardy, stand right up.
Right, exactly. So
like,
like,
the Price is Right, right?
Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time as a kid.
Exactly. So yeah, so the process. Going through that for me is like, I can't believe that I was able to, I went into it with an open mind, and I'm shocked that I was able to find someone like Rachael that like can put up with me, has the type of heart that she does, and was able to form that connection as a skeptic before the show, that you could find someone like that on a TV show. And so like that was incredible, and that was a great takeaway from the whole experience for me. And then the second thing would be just where we're at as a country, and the type of things that we need to do and grow, and having the conversations that we need to be had, not only around race but diversity, inclusion. You would think that we would be further along, but it gives me hope that we're having those conversations now. So those are two things that I never would have thought would be the byproduct of this experience for me.
All right, before we get into rapid fire questions to answer, Rachael, do you know how lucky you are to have this guy? This guy is amazing. I just wanted to be known right now that I said that, so it's on record. You are so lucky to have this guy. All right, so we can keep going.
You're good
so
friends.
Listen. Just give me $20 later. All right, so what is the most important book you've ever read?
Oh man, the most important book, hands down, is the Bible. I read the Bible. I try to read it every day, but that's like kind of what grounds me. So
okay. Second comes from our friends that hate sleep. I used to sleep like 5-6 hours. I was real bad.
Right.
My lovely wife said, "Hey, sleep is important," mainly because she didn't want me to keep waking her up and all this stuff. I see Rachael pumping her arms over here. All right, so I got 8 sleep now, right? And I like this thing so much that I invested in the company because it's a bed that they make super cold on. You can make it cold or hot.
Shut up.
I make it freezing cold. I sleep like a baby 8-9 hours. It's amazing. And it's got sensors in it that can tell you, how deep was your sleep, how many times did you toss and turn, whatever. Like it tracks all stuff. Only downside is when you first get it out of the box. This is a fun tip for everybody. It also has like a vibration alarm in it. So it asks you when you're setting up the app, it's like, what time you want to wake up? At 8 o'clock. First night, go to sleep in it. That thing woke up. I swear I thought it was an earthquake. I was like, listen, what the fuck is that? That's the only downside. But I love this thing. Gosh. So what is your sleep schedule? And based on Rachel's reaction, it must not be very good.
Bro, I could tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if you had asked what Rachel's biggest problem with our relationship right now is my sleep cycle.
All right, how many hours do you sleep?
So I typically sleep 5 hours, like 6 max, but like,
which I used to think was normal,
right? So like, and to get to that point, like I don't like to wake, like if I had to wake up at 5 a.m., I'm not gonna set an alarm for 5 a.m. I'm gonna set an alarm for 2 a.m. because when my alarm goes off at 2, I'm like, oh, thank God I have 3 hours left. And then I'm gonna set an alarm for 2:15 because I'm gonna look at it 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, I have 2 hours and 45 minutes left. So I set like 10 alarms, and whole time I'm more, probably 20, and I'm waking up. Oh, because I hit snooze. Yeah, and so Rachel's just like having to deal with this. But when I'm with Rachael, she likes to sleep. She likes the room to be like a bomb shelter. Like the curtains have to be all the way down. There can't be any light coming into the room. The phone faces are down. So like I could wake up if my alarm, and she'll turn my alarms off. She had me set one alarm, And so when that goes off, I'm obviously not going to get on. I'm not going to get up off that. So I wake up. I went to bed at 11 p.m. It's 3 in the afternoon because I didn't have an alarm. Like, there's no concept of time. It's completely dark. And I look at the phone and I'm breathing hard. I'm like, yo, I've been asleep for 11 hours.
She's torturing you.
Yeah, she is.
I love this that she doesn't have a microphone, so she can't say anything. All right. So you still only sleep 5-6 hours, or she's got you?
Well, it depends. So like when Monday through Friday, like I try to get like 5 or 6 hours, but on the weekends, like I'll sleep in a little bit.
All right. Last question, and you could ask me one to finish. Is aliens? Are you a believer or a non-believer?
Bro, I am a believer. I think that there's because I think that there's a bunch of reasons, but I think that there's too much smoke to not be fire. Like I don't know necessarily what they look like if they look like E.T. or if they look like a Transformer, but like there's too much going on for there not to be some sort of like.
Did you see the cephalopod test?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, I haven't talked about this on the podcast in a long time.
Let's hear it.
Cephalopod, I don't even know. If you show me 10 things, I couldn't tell you what a cephalopod looks like, but it's something in the ocean. And they gave it an intelligence test designed for like 4-year-olds or something, and it passed.
You're lying.
I swear. And by the way, I don't know what's in the intelligence test. I don't want to know. I don't know how you administer an intelligence test to a fish or whatever. I don't want to know that either. But all I know is that I've read multiple reports that it passed the intelligence test.
Okay.
And so when I think of alien, I always think of like out in space, right? But there is shit in the ocean that scares the hell out of me.
Hey, me too. Rachel's afraid of sharks.
Sharks?
Yeah. Sharks.
You think sharks or octopus are scarier? Like the octopus feels like it could fuck you up pretty bad.
So you know what? That's actually hilarious you say that, because what's that documentary?
My Octopus Teacher.
There's a documentary called My Octopus Teacher, and like and now like we can't eat octopus. If you eat octopus, then you're canceled. So I have to watch the documentary. I might feel the same way, so I can't even speak to that.
I haven't even watched it yet.
But like apparently Octopus Teacher, you got to watch it.
All right. Can you eat sharks though if we don't like them?
Yo, sharks are endangered. Yeah, you can't eat sharks either.
Oh, have you ever seen the viral video of the woman who's in her car, and I don't know if she's driving or just sitting there, and she's like, "I've been telling y'all want to go to the beach? No problem, go to the beach, but don't go in the shark's house, because if the shark comes in my house, I'm eating it. So if you go in the shark's house, the shark's gonna eat you."
Wow.
And it's like a 2-minute video. This shit is hysterical.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, don't go in the shark's house. Respect the sea.
You know what's crazy, Pomp? When I was in Jupiter, there was I was living in Jupiter over quarantine. Mm-hmm. There was the biggest tiger shark I've ever seen in my entire life on video. There's this guy, he's just paddleboarding, maybe 50 feet offshore, maybe 50, 60 feet offshore. This dude's paddleboarding, and he puts his GoPro under the water. I don't, maybe 15,
what did he do?
15, 20 foot long tiger shark that has a whole hammerhead shark in his mouth, ripping it up. And this is underneath his paddleboard, bro. Like he's just paddleboarding. There's people playing on the beach, and like, yo, I'm gonna send you the video. Video is crazy.
Yeah, I don't go in the shark's house.
I don't go in the shark's house. So I get why people would be. Yeah, I'm good on that.
I like to look at it. It's nice, go. There's a breeze, but exactly. Going inside, I'm good.
Yeah, no,
just go to the pool. All right, what question do you have for me to finish up?
If you could tell yourself, your 20-year-old self, one thing, looking back on your whole life experience, what would you tell yourself?
2 things. No fucking fear and go bigger. Everything that you do in life takes the same amount of effort regardless of the output, right? Like if you want to accomplish something, you have to work hard at it.
Right.
But if you work hard at accomplishing a small thing, then you get a small reward. But if you work hard at accomplishing a big thing, you get the big reward. So it's kind of like, think of like sports, right? You have to play just as hard in the first game of the season as the championship game, right? If you want to win.
Right.
But obviously the championship game is way more important.
Right.
Right. From just a pure, like the payoff of it.
Right.
So if you want to actually accomplish things in the world and you're going to do the work anyways, like go after big things.
Right.
Because the asymmetry is so much better. And I think just like when you're younger, it's almost like in baseball, like batting average, like you want to bat 1,000.
Right.
Every time I do something, I want to be successful.
Right.
But as you get older, I think you realize like slugging percentage is more important.
Right.
I don't need to get a hit every time, but when I get a hit, it's a home run.
Right. I like that.
And so like that's a framework that I think it's really, really hard when you're younger. And then as you get older and you realize that you're like, damn, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Right.
And like you go and you look at all these super successful people, right? Like take Masayoshi Son from SoftBank.
Right.
He's been the richest person in the world twice.
Right.
He ain't the richest person anymore. Right. And one time he literally was the richest person in the world and lost 99% of his wealth and then came back. Right. Like, how do you do that? Like, you always take big swings. Right. And so, like, yeah, cool. He probably didn't enjoy the 99% drawdown. Right. But just he was taking big swings. Right. Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital. I think he's going to kill me if I get this wrong. I think he's been a billionaire 3 different times. Billionaire, not a billionaire, billionaire, not a billionaire, billionaire now again.
Yeah.
And he's now, I think, wealthier than he's ever been. And so it's just like, you just see enough of the data points. You're like, all right, just go big.
Yeah.
All right, where can we send people to find you on the internet?
Oh, man. ABC Food Tours, that's our nonprofit that we work with the students. And we've got our sustainability model going. And then
abcfoodtours.com.
abcfoodtours.org. And then on any social. And then me personally, Matt James 919.
All right. And then obviously, if we go to Rachel's Spotify playlist, we'll see you there as well.
Yeah, anything on Rachel's socials as well, because I'm going to be scouring it, especially the social, Spotify, because she has better music than I do. So,
all right. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, bro.